Hi guys, it's Carissa, and it is cycle day 14 for me. I tested on cycle day 11 and on 12, and everything was negative. Um, and once again, anything that I might have possibly thought was a symptom, I didn't focus too much on because I figured it's really not worth it, and I was right. So I'm feeling a little bit surly tonight, and it's getting late and I'm probably tired. I probably should go to bed. But then something told me this is a great time to make a video because you're feeling all sour and it's probably going to be easier to talk about your crotch. Basically, just before, like this time last cycle, just before my period, I had someone who subscribes to my videos or at least watches them contact me on Facebook. And she was so sweet. She was like, I know this might sound strange, but this is something that the Mayan massage therapist that I saw recommended that I do, and I wanted to tell you about it. So she told me about the facility she was going to, and it had the same name as the one that I go to, but she goes to a different branch. Hers is about 5 hours away from mine. But still, it was kind of neat because it was kind of like a small world coincidence. I thought there was a possibility she was right down the street from me. So she said that the procedure was called a vaginal steam bath. I Googled it really quick because, of course, that sounds a little weird, but I Googled it really quickly, and from what I read very briefly, without looking too far into it, it sounded like it was a douching procedure. So I thought, well, I'll try that. I would see if I could order the product online. Sure enough, I could, and it was actually only $13, and you could get several uses out of the amount that you received. Now, this is officially the strangest thing that I've tried, that someone that I've never met before was like, hey, this is something that I heard works, and I'm like, sure, I'll do it. But I'm very receptive to things that people suggest to me. I look into everything, and whether I've tried it or not, I always consider things, even in a second time. Maybe it didn't work before, things like that. So this is kind of going out there. This is something that I really am thinking this is more invasive than other things that I've tried. This is a little bit more strange, but I'll do it. Not really reading much into it. I looked at the website and it looked like it was like a step above those websites made on Angel Fire in like 1997. They were just like very like holistic and basic. Like the pictures weren't even of the products themselves. It was like, for this vaginal steam bath, the picture was like a stock photo of a marble like herb crusher with a little, you know what I'm talking about? So I was like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but it's $13. It ended up being like 19 with shipping. That's fine. So it arrives, and you're supposed to do it according to what the Mayan massage therapist had told my viewer who wrote to me. I'm pretty sure she said to do it the day after the end of your period. But this actually said to do it at a different point. I think it was like the day before your period is supposed to start, or the first day it starts. I don't remember. But it said it was at a completely different time. So I was like, same difference, whatever. I'll still try it when they would have done it at the center, which is the first day after the end of my period. Now, what I didn't realize was going to be arriving to my door was a bag like this that looks like oregano and smells like oregano. It smells like full-on pizza seasoning. You know why? Because there is oregano in here, and basil as well. But I'll get into that. So I was really hesitant because I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And reading the instructions, bless their hearts, these people mean well, I'm sure. And if you really allow yourself to suspend your disbelief and look at it as a spiritual procedure and really, really like soak it all in the way they say to, the instructions don't seem as odd. But they were very much like, pour water into a pot and thank the gods and goddesses for your ability to participate in your healing and blah, blah, blah. So it took a little while for me to get through to the point of what they were saying, because it was a lot of that kind of stuff. And I'm just trying to look at it very medically, like what do I need to do with this bag of pizza seasoning and my crotch? Like, how are these two things going to Yeah. So basically, I decided to research it further. I found 2 videos on YouTube on the subject, just 2, and very little information online, but it is a very much so a spa-based procedure. Ideally, you have a wooden stool with a hole in it like this, which you can buy from the place that I got these herbs from. And you boil a pot of water, you put these herbs in them, you set the pot of water underneath the seat with the hole in it, and you sit on it with a blanket wrapped around you, like covering you to the floor all the way around to like trap the steam in. And you steam your girl parts for, I don't know, 20 minutes or something? I don't remember. I think it's 20 minutes. So here I'm thinking, where am I going to sit with a hole in it? Is there some way I can do this on my toilet? Where am I going to sit for 20 minutes? I think the instructions did say you could use a slotted or a slatted chair, and I didn't really have one of those. I thought about taking the seat pad, like unscrewing it from my dining room chairs and like sitting on just that somehow. That seemed really uncomfortable to do for as long as you would have to do that for. I decided upon doing something. It isn't the exact instructions, but let's be honest, I didn't know what to do with myself because I was going to have a hot pot of water. I didn't want to put that directly on the floor or on the carpet or on my, like, I didn't want to put that anywhere directly on the floor, but I didn't have a chair that would work out to put it on like how they recommend you do for these types of procedures. So I sat in this very chair. Does that make you feel awkward? And I just kind of inched myself down, like scooted my butt down and like kind of rested on my tailbone and like pushed my lower body out towards the end of the chair. Wrapped myself in a big quilt, and I put a like Conair or something facial steamer that I have that I've used like 1 or 2 times. I put the herbs in that with the water, and I just turned it on and let it steam. I quickly made the entire house smell like I was making a pot of sauce or making 80 pizzas for some reason. I mean, it smelled so strong in here of basil and oregano for 2 days. It was almost sickening. The blanket, the quilt that I steamed in, definitely smelled really strong for a few days. And I did exactly, I mean, to an extent, I did exactly what it was intended to do. As crazy as it seemed, as strange as it seemed, I did participate in this procedure. I don't know how effective it was because of my circumstances or how effective it is even in the most ideal situation. My understanding is that it helps the body flush away matter that is keeping you from conceiving for whatever reason. Like it cleans out the uterine lining better and around the cervix or something. Do you see how uninformed I am on this, but I still like went full blown into it anyway? So I have this giant bag. I could probably do it 3 or 4 more times with what's in here. Will I do it again? Heck yeah, because if it works, why not? And if it doesn't, it's really not that much of a burden for me to sit around with my pants off for a few more minutes in the day than I normally do. Did I feel anything? Absolutely. This is where I started to feel a little bit differently on the subject. So this last cycle was completely natural. I had no help from anywhere on this last cycle. I temped and I took OPKs, and that's it. And the day after, I think it was in the morning after I did the vaginal steam bath, I felt like a pulsing feeling in both of my ovaries. Not at the same time. It was like during the course of the morning, I'd feel a little something on the right, a little something on the left. And I did feel slight cramping. And that's unusual for the day after my period, or the day after my period, which is what it would have been then. So maybe something was going on down there. Maybe my ovaries were like, who is making a pizza? Seriously, guys. I'm hoping that after a few more tries, it helps me do what it needs to do. And on that topic, I finally did decide to give in. And because I'm not doing a medicated cycle again this month, I figured I would look into using these two products, which many people have recommended to me. And I do thank you so much for doing that, because it looks very much like it's worthwhile. I'm not saying it's a sure thing. None of these things that I'm doing or trying are a sure thing, but it's something that I haven't tried yet and that I'm willing to give a shot. So I picked up both of these products on Amazon. I just thought I would share the most embarrassing thing that I have done to boost my fertility thus far. And my husband thinks it's hilarious. He likes to call it steaming my clam and asks me if we're having steamed clam for dinner and blah, 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 because he's a comedian. If it had worked, I really could have gotten him back on those jokes. I just don't. I don't know. So here's to hope, right? I mean, I'm just trying to stay positive. I'm just trying to do the right things. And, you know, until we figure out our course of action for our next medicated cycle, when it's going to be, if we're going to do it, things like that. These are things that I'm fully willing to try and experience and then share with you guys so that you can decide for yourself whether or not you want to steam your clams. Other than that, tomorrow starts my dietary restrictions. I'm going to cut back on dairy as much as possible, and bread, at least glutinous bread. I will allow myself carbs in the form of like rice, if at all, and I'll try not to lean too heavily on that. I'm also looking to incorporate a little bit more physical activity and just try and move everything in a positive direction. That is it for now, guys. I will make another video very soon when I'm not feeling so tired, grouchy, and probably full of PMS. So that's all I've got for you guys. I hope you're doing really well, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.